Good afternoon and welcome to another week in our garden. We're starting in the shed today because outside there's a howling wind from the west and the showers and the garden's wet through, so we won't be doing a lot out there. We are going out there. Now Jenny has asked me to explain the setup that we have for the propagators. So I've stripped one down and I'll rebuild it and show you how my propagators sit and work. This is the box I made out of this, I think it was an old door panel. But my neighbour asked me if I could use it and I said yes, I'll use that. It's got polystyrene infill. Now I've actually been told you can actually buy this material from the DIY stores, so it is available. I've got it on the bottom and the two sides, and the end is just a piece of board just to hold everything together. With it having polystyrene in, the heat will not go through it, so the heat stays into the propagator. And once I've made that, all I do is I put the propagator inside. These propagators are made by Stewart, and what I do, I just push the lid out of the side, look, so I can get it nice and snug into the box. I made it big enough for both propagators, and now once that's in, all the heat has got to come into the box. It can't go out. You can just use it like that, but I like to put a little bit of capillary matting in the bottom, and then I'm going to wet that before I put the trays in. We'll use this water because this has been warmed to the same temperature as the propagators anyway. It's actually kept in the propagators. Plenty of water in the bottom. That's it. So that will soak into that mat and hold that nice warm moisture at the bottom. It's amazing how quick it evaporates as well. Now into that, these are designed so that they take 2 half trays that way, like that. And just to show you in that one, what I've actually done in this one, I've put 2 half trays side by side, another one at the top, a quarter tray in there, and then I've put the cucumbers in those pots there, and that they're growing there is a bit of corn that's come off the chicken feed that's got in there somehow. But when I feel these, they're lovely and warm, so that's doing its job nicely. This will soak this water out of the bottom into the bottom, because I don't really want to water from the top if I can help it. This one is a multi-cell tray. We're actually going to use this one today, but I'll put it in for now. And then, because this won't be, if you leave it as a space, that warmth is just going to come out. So that one is just a tray of compost to keep the warmth into the propagator. This particular propagator just here has got its own thermostat, which is set at 20 and is not on at the moment. Well, I've unplugged it anyway to show you. This is the thermostat on-off switch, if you like, but don't put it into the compost, put it under a tray, and then you know the bottom heat will be that temperature, It's not the top heat we want, it's the bottom heat. And as you see, everything's coming up quite well in here. Tomatoes all over the place here. But the main thing is the cucumbers doing rather well. I've got 5 and 6 coming. I don't know what's happened here. Perhaps they're a bit lazy there. Right, the tops just clip on, and I keep the vents open as much as possible. That lets all that damp air out. This vent, because it's got the temperature switch on there, that has a little cutout, and so that sits on that one with the wire going through. Again, vents open. Now, what I have that was actually gifted to me from the manufacturer, and we did do a video on it, is the lights. This is the light I use. It's not very big, but it's got quite a large magnifier on it. So although it's a small light itself, it magnifies quite a lot. I'll just switch it on and show you. Now I'll just switch it on as it is now to show you, but we don't keep it on while we're filming because it affects the quality of the camera. So I'll just switch it on and let you see. It's quite a bright light, and there is a fan in there to cool the light itself. But there's enough in there, enough light for both of these. What I do is I pull it between the two, and that sees to all these 8 trays. It's quite a good light. It's the magnifying glass at the bottom that really spreads the light out. I'm going to put in some helichrysum flowers. Diane says she'd like some this year, so I'm going to put some in, and I'm going to use this multi-cell tray. I should just do a few just to show you what to do. The idea being now that unlike the vegetables, which you can just pull out and pot on, helichrysum doesn't like to be moved, doesn't like to be potted up with bare roots. So what we shall do is put them in the multi-cell tray in groups till we filled it, and then when it's time to pop them on, they'll just pop out of here easy and there'll be no root disturbance. So we just put a few in to start with, and this is where I need my glasses on. That's better, I can see what I'm doing now. And then we'll just tap a few. They're quite big seeds, as you can see. Let's see, that many in each one. And we'll keep going until we fill them all up. The idea being, if you do them all, then you can go back and put some more in. But if you put too many in now, you'll only get half a tray, and that's no good. We want a full tray. There you are. I'll finish this row and then I'll show them done. Now that's all the cells with a few in each, every single one. And now we just need to cover it with some vermiculite. Put a light covering in first. You can always put some more in until they're full. This keeps the top nice and moist, and it helps with the germination because it's not very heavy like heavy compost. It holds the seed down. These let the seeds germinate quite freely. Quite good. And we'll put fair scattering on. That's it. Now I can't put a piece of wood to push these down, so I just go along with my fingers and just push them down. Then through this side. And then we can put that in the propagator. There you go then, in it goes. And just a little press into that mat. That'll germinate for 3 or 4 days and they'll be up. It's nice to see the celery coming up today. This here was the second set of that Bristol hybrid onion. That's very good storage, but again it's a good job we set twice because there's still not a lot coming through. There's enough for what we want now. Now that's the helichrysum into the propagator, snug and warm, soon germinate. Now I haven't got any more seeds I'm going to put in immediately because I haven't got the seeds what I showed you last week actually into the propagator. The weather's been a bit iffy light wise, so I've sort of held off and letting the plants grow that are in the propagator, and then we'll take them plants as they germinate to the bottom, but I'll show you that when we get down. There's a little job on the raspberries we need to do on the way down to the bottom greenhouse. Now we're out in the wilds now with this wind, but I need to prune these raspberries. These are floricanes. They're the ones that flower and fruit in the summer. So we've tied the tops down for the winter, but now we need to cut those tops off and feed them so that the stem below breaks and gives us more fruit at the bottom rather than just at the top. Now you can see where we've tied them for winter, and we just tied the tops over. Now we need to come back, follow each one up to about 6 inches above the frame and just above a bud and cut off, then take those away. Then we'll tie those in, the idea being that with the top missing you'll get all your fruit stems come off here, so it fruits all along the whole of the raspberry. This one's quite a big one, look, but we're still going to do the same. So we'll go there, look, and cut off. Then we take this off all the way. It's quite a long one, but it's got to come off. That was quite a long one to cut off, but you're better off now. I'll just put them on the path and then I'll pick them up later. Again, this one's already broken, look, so we'll just tidy it up. Then we'll go to the next one, which is here, and about 6 inches, but always make sure you take them off at the bud. This one, it's huge, look. Cut that tie off. And then same again, 6 inches and cut off. Let's do it quickly so we can show you it finished. It's there, so we'll cut off there, I think. Now I'll cut this off and then I'll show you it when I've finished. That's all the floricanes with their tops cut off, and I've just this one here just to tie in so that they're all tied in, especially in this wind. While I'm here, although it is a little bit windy for doing this, but I should do it as low as possible, I have some bone meal and some seaweed, calcified seaweed in there. The calcified seaweed is the larger lumps, and then if I turn it, the dusty bits are actually the bone meal. I'll keep it as low as possible so the wind doesn't blow it away. Just a little bit. Now there's a big black cloud coming across us now, so hopefully that'll be rained in, and then later in the week when it's a little bit drier I should just rake it in with that 4-prong rake just to make it tighter. This side has the row of primer canes. As you can see, nothing showing yet. That's fine because they'll flower and fruit later on in the summer. So these are to come. We'll do the same when they come up. We'll give them a good feed to really boost them and get them going. Now, as you can see, we haven't finished the putting the mesh on the fruit cage. It's just been too wet, and we've popped into the bottom greenhouse. It's lovely and warm in here. It's actually 21 degrees, so that shows that how much wind chill there is out there. Last night it went down to 6 in here, which is perfectly alright. Now I've started potting up the overwintered geraniums. Here's some that I've already done. I put them up here out the way. It's a little bit warmer up here, and then it won't affect all the seedlings that are coming through in the bottom. The larger plants I put into 2-litre pots, and all the others as much as possible in 1 litre, and then I water from the bottom. I watered yesterday and it's as dry as a bone today, so I'll water again tomorrow. I don't want them too wet just yet, but these, as you can imagine, are going to make huge plants, and then when they put a flower on and we show the colour, we'll pop a label in saying what colour it is, and then Diane can know the plant, what colour plant she's got to put in the containers. Now let's have a look what we've got. We'll put it in that tray there and empty them out. These, I don't know if you can remember, but these are the overwintered ones. We overwintered them in these trays full of very, very sandy compost. So we'll take 1 or 2 out and have a look. Have a look how they've got on. They should come out quite well. As you can see, they've had hardly any water at all. It's very dry. So let's pot a few up. We need to just get the secateurs and the rubbish pot. We're a little bit tight on room in here, so we'll take this off. It's got a nice shoot coming there, look, but it's rotten at the top, so let's take that off. I'm not going to take too much off because we need nice big plants. That bit of rot there, look, we'll take that off, and that one. That's it. And that's there, look. It's very wet and squidgy. It takes some cutting. And then just shake all the sand and overwintered off there, look. And then what I do is, because it's moist, I pop it into the Q4 root mold powder. Just leave it there for a second and then we pot it up. The compost is a good open compost. I'm afraid it's not a peat free this time because I had a terrible job getting some, and it's been left in here and it's actually quite warm, so it's not a shock to the plant. Just put a bit in the bottom and then that'll sit in there with that powder on it, and that'll go away very quickly. And I'll just show you the compost with this warm. That's how I do it. The compost, as I said, I'm afraid it's not a peat free. So that's the best I could get. There is peat in it, but I've added some vermiculite, coarse vermiculite in it as well, just to open it up a bit. And it's come out not too bad, and it's lovely and warm, so that should be alright. Do another one, let's have a look. If I just loosen them and pull them out. Let's get an ivy leaf out as well. Go in there, pull them out. You see, they're all dry. We'll pop those up and we'll see how we go with those. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was 9 geraniums in this pot. This is an ivy leaf that's come through the winter. We just knock that. Always looking at all times for little maggots. They're the vine weevil bugs. If you see one of those, squash it immediately. And then we'll just get the secateurs. And we'll go around, take all the dead bits out if you can, and pull any leaf stalks off that were on it. Again, I'm not going to reduce it. That's got a nice shoot on it, so we'll leave that one. The idea is if I leave them to grow on a bit, and they will grow on quite quick once they put the roots down, I might just be able to get some cuttings out of them as well. That one's coming off there, look, if I can get to it. Oh, it's got it, and that one needs to come off. That's better. There you are, nice plant. It is going to flower, look. So we will know the colour. Again, into the Q4 root more. Just prop it up while you get the pot ready. A nice, I'll do it just here, look, so you can see. Nice open pot. And then I want it a bit deeper than that, that's better. Nice and deep. And then just fill it round. Plant them quite firm, but not over firm. And that'll do nicely. Sorry about that. Diane was flashing, so she had to go all the way up to the house to get a new battery. And halfway back, if you look at the roof, you can see what happened. It made it run a little bit. That's a nice piece of rain is going to wash that bit of fertiliser in, so it's not all bad, is it? Whilst Diane was fetching her battery, I potted the other ones that were in that pot. So we've still got these two to do. And if I just show you, not all of them make it. So be prepared. Or even though it's still got good root on, the top is gone, so that's no good to keep. So we'll just take these off, look. Can you see these? Look, we need to take those off. Low down. If you can get to where it's a little bit better wood, like that, they do cut better. But you see, we can go. We're going to anything like that that's on a dead one, like that one we just cut. That's got to go, I'm afraid. So work your secateurs in and snip them off. Likewise with this one, you see, we'll have to take that off. But there is one growing out the side of it there, so if we go there, they take some cutting when they're a bit, still a bit wet. And there's a little one there, that's cut better. There you are. If you've got any the big damaged leaves, don't worry about those just yet. Let's get it rooting and get it growing. We'll just pop that into the Q4 and then just stand it there while I get a pot ready. Again, 1 litre, but what I'll show you is, I'll do it on this tray. With your geraniums, even in a 1 litre, try and pop them quite deep, because they will root from, as you can you see this, look, they will root quite high up. So if you bury them a little bit, you'll get extra roots. So let's just pop some compost. There'll be a bit of waste compost, but it doesn't matter. There you go. So this compost here is mixed with the old compost, so I won't use that at all. That's the beauty of doing it inside a pot, but you can't see it when I'm doing it in there. Not firm, but not over firm, okay? And then one more. Ivy leaf. Take the dead leaves off. They'll soon break off. That one's okay, we'll leave that. And then we'll just go around, take some of these stalks out that are not doing any good. Nice plant. They've just sat in here all winter in those big pots, and they just had a piece of fleece over them, and they've took all the cold temperatures we've had up to now. Now, as we get this nice bit of warm weather, because even today we're standing at 18 degrees in here, so it soon warms them up, and then they'll start growing. And hopefully, because we're growing them on early, we might just be able to get a few cuttings off them. Won't be for this year, the cuttings, they'll be for next year, but then we'll even have more to overwinter. Same again. I'll have to do it in the pot because it's easier and you're not wasting compost. So same again, look nice and deep, and then backfill up both sides. The compost is warm. I'll do it up here. And then just go round semi-tight, and then there it is. So that one pot that we overwintered, like these here, similar to these, we've had 9 good sized plants out. That's 9 good sized plants we haven't got to buy. Now last year, because of the lockdown and everything, the garden centres were closed, and so we had to rely on this overwintered stock for our summer displays, and it worked very well. So we really need to expand the colour and the new colours in some of the geraniums that are coming through now. Fantastic. So we really need to try and get some cuttings off these so we can keep a few more over for next year. Now, just before I finish and show you something else, I'll just pop a cover over that Q4, just to try and keep it a little bit drier. These are what we've grown in the propagator. The two lots of lettuce, one red, one green, obviously, and then we've got the cabbage, the calabrese, the cauliflower, and the Brussels sprouts. Now these have been in the propagator, and as soon as they started to grow like they are now, I've brought them down here because they can take lower temperatures. Once they've germinated, they're quite tough. Remember, they are cold season plants, or your cabbages, etc. So they'll love it in these cooler bits rather than being that very hot propagator. They've been down here for 3 or 4 days now, and perfectly all right. They're growing quite well. So I shall leave those in here until I can get them trayed up, and then harden them up in the frame outside, and then they'll go in the garden. Now I'll just show you the progress of the onions now they've been potted. They're growing quite well. Now what I do, I put them in these trays so I can water into the tray. What I do is I take one out of each end and I water into there until I see it to there, and then I put the plants back and move on. Now I try not to water over the top because the onions are a bit delicate at the moment, and if you go straight over the top you'll knock them flat and there'll be days before they pick up again. So water from the bottom, not too much. Red Baron and Octavia done. I've still got a few of that Bristol to do. Don't want that in there. A few of these Bristol to do. There's another tray of Bristol to do. These are the odd bits that are left. I will pot them, and then if anybody wants some I can just pass them to those over. As for numbers of onion, I've measured the onion bed, and although there looks a lot of onions there, I need about another tray. That's about 30, what days? 8, 6, 24. That's another 32. And I want to use the Bristol as they come through. So I still need another tray of onions just to fill that onion bed that we prepared. So it looks a lot, but there's not really. Again, once they start growing well, and I think they should be all right, I shall put them in the frame outside, just outside this greenhouse, so that they harden up before we put them into the bed that was prepared for them. Now I've also brought up some peppers and even some aubergines into this greenhouse. This is no heat in here at all, don't forget. So once they're germinated, it shows they will take a little bit lower temperature. At night I just put this cover on them just as a little bit extra protection, and a fleece that goes across the whole lot. But in the day, if the sun gets too high, which it's not too bad today, so it won't do it, but if the sun gets too hot, I just pop these bits of fleece on the top just to stop the sun from burning those young leaves. While they've got the seed leaves and the first leaves coming, they're a little bit delicate, so we have to take care of them. Day like today, we're giving plenty of light and let the air circulate around them. These are not far, they're just beginning to show the true leaves now, so they're not far off being potted. Again, I always water from the bottom, try not to water from the top. There's a lot still to pot up from the overwintered stock. Some of them, this is a huge fuchsia. It must have been with us 3 or 4 years, maybe more. And it's got into these huge pots now. I can't break the root ball down anymore. But that will make a huge plant. And it's coming now, it's started to sprout a bit of green. If you want to bring your fuchsias on, especially the ones that are in wood like this, to speed them up a little bit of water on them. My solar fan is ticking away nicely, as you can see. I only have it on speed 1 while we're in here because it makes too much draft out. The top greenhouse has got some overwintered geraniums and fuchsias in that. So as soon as I can get these done, I can start emptying the top greenhouse and then make room ready for the tomato crops that are coming up nicely. Now that'll be it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a beautiful day in here, but when you get outside it's quite a chill in the wind, and as you saw we're still getting storms coming across. The weather will be better on Monday, hopefully, so we can get on with the fruit cage, and we'll show you that next week. Now that'll be it for this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. Happy Mother's Day for all those mothers in the UK. But happy Mother's Day for everybody. Don't matter where you are, you're still a mother. So I'll see you next week. Do take care, everybody. We're nearly there. Bye now.